Greetings, salam, shalom, brothers and sisters. Stephen Graham here, filmmaker, author. I'm here to talk about my recent documentary I just made. Is that in the Western world, Gentile servitude and redemption? I think the bigger picture is what I wanted people to grasp. Though a lot of people I've got great feedback and I respect the feedback, I appreciate it. But I want brothers and sisters really to grasp the bigger picture because, you know, in America I know there's a movement going on regards and everyone's talking about reparations, and that's even happening over here in the UK. You know, you have people fighting for that. You know, respect Sister Esther Stanford, you know, from the Hebrew community. She's amazing. She's fighting for that likewise. There's many people fighting for that. Rastafari movement has been fighting for a very long time. I mean, you know, Rasta movement has been going on for a hot minute doing this, you know, and as a Jamaican myself, I'm proud to say, you know, the Rastafari movement have been fighting for its reparations. But what need to look at as, you know, respect to the great Robert Nesta Marley, Bob says, some say to the part of it, we've got to fulfill the book. The Bible is a powerful tool. And what I really wanted people to see, although I talked about land slave trade to prove that it was us that went into slave trade and us in the Western world, and also showing that, yes, undoubtedly it has to be the sons of Japheth being the Europeans, because they fit the whole prescription of Tarshish, which is Spain, Tabal. But on that note, when you think about it, Spain, what we see Spain today, or Spain and Portugal, because Spain and Portugal literally, it's really was one massive, isn't it? It's only recently Spain and Portugal existed as, you know, two separate little places. But when we look at the reality of this, it's it talks about Tarshish shall be first to bring thy people. You know, it talks about the isles are far off, or waits for me. You know, where the isles are far off refers to the UK. In my eyes, when you look at scriptures and you read it scripturally, the isles, and undoubtedly, is Great Britain. When you're looking at that, these scriptures, you see, everyone talks about, you know, reparation from the European government and the European governments, but the Bible's telling you clearly that, you know, Spain, Portugal, we know they played a key role, and it's biblically written that, you know, they played a key role, because you see, it says Tarshish shall be first to be outside. It doesn't talk about just referring to the children, or the children of slave trade who are African descendants in Europe. It doesn't refer to them just being in Tarshish. It says, Tarshish shall be first to be my forth, my sons and daughters. So it's saying that these countries will acknowledge their wrongs of what they've done unto their people. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, it made it kind of clear to put it how I put it. But at the same time, I didn't mention this in the documentary for a specific reason, that at that time I wanted people to just see it and understand that, wow, you know, but hey, ain't Spain and Portugal so close? And ain't that really one map wise? And just, you know, I want people to look into themselves, because the key is to not also just spoon feed everyone, but also allow people to hear of a certain aspect of knowledge and then go back and research and see it for themselves, you know. And then it's like, for one to feel that then, you know, the Europeans can't be the Japhethites, because I know some people say, you know, the Europeans are the Edomites, and, you know, that means referring to them being the seed of Abraham and Isaac, which when you look at Abraham and Isaac, if we say that, then technically we're saying, because bear in mind the Israelites have a covenant. We have a covenant for Abraham, number one, then we got Isaac's covenant, and we got Jacob's covenant. That's why it is three different covenants in one covenant. We have to bear that in mind. Just like we have a covenant of Dawood, where Allah's a covenant of Dawood, and we also are in that covenant where the Messiah comes through. So we have three different covenants there, though it's one covenant. The covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why it's called the covenant of Abraham, covenant of Isaac, and Jacob. It's not saying the covenant of Abraham and Jacob as just one covenant. It says a covenant of Abraham, covenant of Isaac, and covenant of Jacob. Because we know the Most High said to Abraham, your seed shall be from Egypt to the river Euphrates, and he promised him, yes, you know, only should bless in your seeds. And you know, but it's like, all Abraham's seeds were, if you understand the scriptures, how the scriptures written, all Abraham's seeds were dwelling within that region, in that place. And if you're saying the Europeans then are actually the seed of Abraham and Isaac, because they're Esau descendants, then they have right to that land too, because Esau has right to that land. So, you know, there's a little misconceptions that big misconceptions in my eyes that's going around, and I thought by just doing this documentary make it a bit more clear and clear and plain to people, you know, this is what it is. But yeah, by me just shedding this a light on a few things to you to think about, because if the Europeans aren't the Tarshish, the people from Tarshish and Tabul and the Isles are far off, who the people of the Isles are far off are those, as in Genesis, were given to Japheth. Japheth's descendants were given to the Isles are far off. I mean, well, the Isles of the Gentiles were given Japheth's descendants, and the Isles are far off, and Paul and Tabal and all these people who are Japhetic people, they are the ones that's going to actually bring back the children of Israel. So if they're not if the Europeans aren't them, then I've got to ask my people, then who are? Who are the people then that win? And therefore, if they're not them, for the Hebrews, especially the Hebrews that claim them, they're not. Why then are we even bothering why are you even bothering to think that the Europeans owe you anything? Because if you're going by your biblical scriptures, then you know. So we just somehow want people to kind of grasp to that the whole concept of Edom being the Israelite. I mean, Edom being the the Edom being the European forefathers. This is something, you know, we need to really think about scripturally, how we look at the scriptures. But for my brothers and sisters, you know, other Pan-Africans, you know, there is very much truth to the scriptures and to the Atlantic slave trade that there's to grasp on, to hold and say, well, listen, there is strength in these books that we can look at. We don't have to push these books aside and say, you know, we don't need them. In regards to, especially for my Muslim brothers, you know, especially for the Gulls of Caribbean descendants and American and, you know, even African, bear in mind, who are living, African on the continent, we're all African. Bear in mind that, you know, seeing that the Israelites in the Western, inside the Israelites in the Torah, seeing the scripture and prophecy of the Israelites in Torah, it then makes you look at the Quran with a whole different viewpoint. So it's important that we start kind of re-evaluating the way we look at the scriptures, and there's a learning curve for everyone, because I'm on a learning curve. If anybody has anything out there to teach me, you know, I'm very open to listening and to sharing wisdom and knowledge with anyone, you know, because everybody can teach, you know. What's hidden from the wise and prudent is revealed to be a suckling. So, you know, I don't think I know everything. But what I do believe, that this whole misconception that we need to reevaluate the way we look at the scriptures. And, you know, like I said, Rastafarians have been saying for a long time, you know, we're Israelites. You know, whether they did say Rastafari was the Messiah, but the fact is, they've been saying it for a long time, you know, and I came from that Rasta stock because I was a youth, grew up as a Rasta. So, you know what I mean, Lux, I might everything. You get me? So it's like, what I'm saying is that whole concept, we need to understand that they've been saying for a long time, you know, we have to be looking at the European governments, and we have to, you know, this reparation thing is serious. So I'm really saying that's the bottom line, is, you know, we have to really reevaluate the way we structure ourselves as a people, and, you know, address these reparations on a more serious level in regards to not just approaching the governments and people, but psychologically thinking the way we address ourselves and the way we see ourselves and act according to getting this reparation. At the same time, you know, it's not a hate thing. So if you're going to think about, you know, I hate the Europeans, I hate this, I hate that, this again is a big misconception, because you cannot save the world with hate, you know what I mean? You have to save it with love and truth, and those two things is the only thing that's going to really save us and elevate us into the higher point in our minds, you know what I'm saying, in our hearts.